Today I'm going to talk about the history of the Young Black Men, Masculinities, and Mental Health Project, also called YBMen for short. So when I think about the origin of the YBMen project, I really think about it in terms of how I was trained. And so my doctorate is in health education from Texas A&M University. And as a health educator, we're trained to design, implement, and evaluate programs. And so while I was in the midst of that training, I really understood the importance of publishing and making sure that I contributed to the scholarship involved in my particular area of interest, which is Black men's mental health. And so I knew that I needed to analyze data, I needed to produce scholarship, and I needed to disseminate that scholarship. But again, as a health educator, there was something very important to me about designing programs. And so when I think back to the origins of the YBMen project, it was probably around 2008 that I realized I had come to a point in my research program where I wanted to think about how I could give back, how I could create something that was new, something that was innovative, and something that could really, change the way Black men think about their manhood, their mental health, and social support. I begin to think about my research trajectory. I begin to think about my dissertation work that started out with Black college men, and then how I transitioned in my postdoc and into my faculty position, really thinking about not just Black college men, but what happens to Black men after college. And so while my work started out with college populations, I really began to evolve into middle-aged Black men as well as adult and older Black men. And so YBMen came about because after I had done quite a bit of scholarship, sort of disseminated a lot of my work for, 18 to 30-year-old Black men, and then 31 to 54 and 55 and older, after I had sort of, flooded the market with papers and grants and conference presentations and such, I really wanted to come full circle and come back to where I started and think about, okay, now that I've produced information and knowledge about Black college men and Black college-aged men, how can I give back? How can I help these men? And so that's really where YBMen came from. The actual name YBMen is certainly a play on words. The original title is the Young Black Men, Masculinities, and Mental Health Project, but that's a mouthful to say, in all honesty. And so we decided to make the name YBMen for short because, again, it's just easier to roll off the tongue, but it's also a play on words in many ways because I think about just the struggles that Black men in our country have gone through over the decades, and I think that for many of them, there is this question, why should they be men? Why should they stand up for their communities? Why should they advocate for their families? Why should they care about their health? And not only why should they be men, but why should they be Black men?